Hey everybody, Todd Michael Putnam here from D&D Creative Table Designs, bringing you another table adventure. This one here is basically an ode to the old B4 Dungeons and Dragons module, The Lost City. If you ever played D&D Basic way back in the day when classes were, an elf was a class, a dwarf was a class, a halfling was a class, then you had, I think, cleric, fighter, magic user, and thief. And that pretty much covered it for your classes and races because they were all wrapped into one. So anyways, module B4 was called The Lost City, and it was done by Mr. Moldvay, who wrote one of the editions of D&D Basic itself. And the idea was, of course, the characters were out in the desert. Their caravan had perished in a sandstorm. They themselves had barely survived. They needed food and water quickly, and in the module they came across a partially unburied pyramid that they were able to get inside of. And once they got inside, there were three different factions of a race that used to live there. And I don't remember what the factions are. There was like a wizard faction, a fighter faction, and I think clerical or something like that faction. But there were basically three different factions of the civilization that had splintered off, and they wore these exotic costumes, and most of the time they were like drug induced. And it turns out that long ago their empire had been overthrown by this guy named Zargon. So, and you just go through, and the module was kind of only like 3/4 finished. There was room for you to come up with your own stuff and fill in. It was kind of like a tutorial module back in the day. So super loosely based off of that. I just decided to do something very similar. So, but instead, up above of the windblown city, I have got the surface world has been taken over by the sand scales. The sand scales, and they're basically a desert lizard race, kind of like the lizard folk that have adapted to desert-like conditions, and they themselves rule the upper reaches of the surface world above where this ancient city has been buried by a sandstorm and destroyed. So they rule it there. The players would, of course, have to take them on, and eventually that they would discover that there were stairs leading down into the temples below. And in the temples below, I had the three different factions. Just going to circle around here. And the three different factions, so like the rogue type faction or whatever I've got over here, and their purpose is to try and overthrow the rest of the other factions using subtlety and traps and scouting out information so that they have the heads up on the other guys, and the typical roguish ways of going about doing asymmetric type warfare. And then you've got the warrior type guys that are over here, that they're wearing their exotic costumes, and they've got the center section of the underground portion of the temple. That's what they seem to rule. And then on the far side, you've got the wizard faction with their own exotic costumes, and they cover this small area of the temple. They've got a nasty creature here. This is the creature that helped overthrow back in the day. It's kind of like think of it as a centaur but with a scorpion type creature that sort of rules the roost. And that's basically it. Super simple module. It's just, from D&D Basic way back in the day, it was mostly open the door, stab the monster, steal the treasure, and move on to the next. Was pretty much the plan for way back then. So, and this the set here that I have that I'm using is their Path of Osiris set from Lunsdargent Workshop. Lunsdargent Workshop. I'm gonna put that in the text there down below so you can see if you want to go there and check them out. They really have some fantastic stuff. This obviously, Path of Osiris is their Egyptian stuff, and it's really well crafted. It's made out of some kind of a sandstone, I guess, and it really looks great. There's all kinds of little extra knickknacks and add-on pieces that they have. I didn't put any of my own stuff in there, other than the minis, of course. Everything that's in there is included, like the collapsed walls, the sand-filled floors and stuff. These skulls on top of small monuments and things. There's like a seat of power, and of course some all the walls have hieroglyphics carved in on them, so it looks just fantastic. And there's even slightly different types of walls. Some of them have this a single stripe here on it. Others, I think, that I didn't use in this particular set has like a double support going on it. But lots and lots of little things that are available. They've got ones that have support poles sticking up and like little bridges and coffins and sepulchers and all that other kind of good stuff and crazy stuff like this for magical portals. Right here you got some broken columns. All of this from Linz D'Argent Workshop from their Path of Osiris set. It has actual hallways, corners, straights, T intersections. It has stairs going down, multiple stairs going down. Like I said, collapsed walls. There's a number of different doors that you can use. Some of them are larger ones like this one here. And the doors work. You can slide those open. You got somewhat smaller ones here. All of the doors work. You can open and close those. So that's kind of cool. Bunches of those, singles and I think I got some double wides in there as well. Then you got this, this little piece here, some kind of like a puzzle lock or whatever. And there's some sphinxes that they have. It's just and I don't even have all the stuff that they have. They've got end cap stuff. It's really a very complete set. It really is. If you're looking to do desert-based stuff and you don't want to have the same dungeon that you run for everything else, I really do recommend it. And I also still remember to this day the way that they packed it is like just to the nth degree. Literally not a single piece was broken. Not a single piece was broken. They packed everything so well that when I received it, everything was in perfect shape. And they even gave me a thing of glue in case something did break. They already included the glue that was necessary to take care of it. So they're really top-notch product that they came up with there. So, and then out here, I just have some, plastic palm trees that I got off eBay. And this is actually one, this part that I'm focused on in the center, and this one here is actually, they're designed to, it's like a fortress that could be put them both together, but they kind of work as two separate buildings as well. Then I just found some ruins off of eBay from different places. This one's 3D printed. This one seems to be some kind of handcrafted thing where somebody actually, hand built it or whatever. I got a couple of those put out there just for, just your basic desert ruins and stuff. And just threw it all together and, made some separate rooms. Like, okay, these guys are here, and those guys are there. It's a really straightforward, simple build. And the mat, I believe, is from P-Works Gaming. And that's their desert map, and it's a really good one. It's mouse mat material, neoprene. That's it. Couldn't think of the word for a second. It's neoprene. Lots of detail on that mat. That actually looks 3D, especially through the camera. That looks 3D, but it's not. That's just printed mat. So, and it really adds to the experience of it. I've often said that the mats themselves are my secret sauce. The mats are the background for everything that you do. And the easiest way to describe that basically is like, they're kind of like the green screen that you use for special effects in the movies. And the green screen in the movies, they're behind the actors. And so, imagine watching Star Wars with no green screen effect. It would be missing something. It would definitely not be the same movie without all the special effects happening behind it. The mats, those are essentially green screens for when you're gaming because it supplies the backdrop for what you're looking at that sets the tone and the mood for everything that you're doing. So that's if you'll notice, I always have battle mats of some kind or other underneath there to try and do that, and it's what brings everything together as opposed to just being flat on the table itself. So there it is. That's it. My very loose interpretation of the module B4 from the Lost City from way back in the day. I don't know, 1970 something, 1980 something, early 80s at the absolute latest. So I hope you appreciate it. If you have, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, by all means, certainly do ask them in the comments or let me know what you think. And I will check you out in the next adventure. Thanks, and you guys take care.